This is a video I had planned over summer, but so much happened and I lost the will and the time. So I'm here in the new year. Now my exam season is over. It's been over for about 2 weeks. This is literally the day before February, and I wanted to get into a whole swing of making something once a month. So here we are. And I wanted to upload the video that was lost in the archives for a minute there. I like to think I'm interested in all things media, song, TV, and film. But a lot of 2025, I thought, think, and sat on things, consuming but not creating. And I know that has trained me, and I want to just move into a new era. If you can't tell, I've deleted TikTok and am still dealing with the withdrawal symptoms, I believe 2 months later. So instead of scrolling on YouTube Shorts, I'm making a video. I've had this crush on this specific song I'm going to talk about, for literally ever. Like, I've listened to it maybe once a day for the past 9 months. I thought the lyrics were arbitrary, like the Cocteau Twins, but they aren't, and I wanted to talk about it. But first, I want to list the things I'm currently crushing on. The first thing is The Game, the TV show. Although, ever since BET took over, which I think was starting from season 4 or 5, the tone has really changed and I don't really like it, so I might stop. Second, Rochelle Jordan, Victoria Monet, and Cleo Sol. Music-wise, I just keep listening to their albums over and over and over again. And film-wise was Return to Silent Hill. In the script, I put, this is the last film I saw in cinema, but yesterday I went to go watch Is This Thing On? And if you're curious about what I thought, go check out my letterboxd. Strange Boutique is a gothic, ethereal speakwave band. The Washington, D.C. natives launched their album, Charm, on the 1st of February, 1993. In this authentic and whimsical album, therein lies the third track, Hills Like White Elephants. Before I make an attempt to conduct a thorough, foolhardy analysis of the song, I want to detail how the song makes me feel. This song, to me, is the definition of ethereal electricity. My head spins with abandon, in a punk rock kind of way, of course, as I'm taken by the haunting electric guitar and riveting bass. Like a gothic spell, I'm entranced, hypnotized, and lulled deeper and deeper by Richards' melody. Monica Richards, the lead vocalist, sways in and out of audibility with every half lyric. In wanting to hear her more and clearer, I play the song louder, to no avail. Once this fails, I play the song on repeat for hours, maybe days, never tiring. It's been my confirmed #1 song, listen to song, for, like I said before. When I wrote this script, it was like 3 months, now it's 9, it's a bit crazy. But all is this to say, I really like this song. The title of the song is taken from Ernest Hemingway's short story, in which an unmanned American man is having a conversation with his partner named Jig. Whilst the words abortion are never spoken, it has been inferred that the heart of the couple's conflict is whether or not Jig should carry out an abortion. The American pushes and Jig is tired of the conversation. I like what Catherine here wrote about the short story. The man asserts, "I don't want anyone but you. I don't want anyone else." Which makes it clear that there will be somebody else, unless the woman has the operation. End quote. The song echoes this subtle toxicity in much of the lyrics about men who promise love but attach loveless conditions. So, because this is my video, and I make the rules here, of course, I will be going through the song line by line, genius style. The word mammal here works in 2 ways, I think. Old mammal denoting the white elephant, and more derogatorily directly addressing the male subject of the song. An elephant can be seen as a majestic creature, even when traveling thousands of miles in the scorching heat for water. But there is a heaviness about the elephant that leads the herd to nourishment. A mistake in direction and leadership, they all ultimately fail. In a similar way, the man is burdened by something, perhaps his own guilt or life circumstances. It is unknown. On the other hand, the man becomes the old mammal, as his responsibilities or guilt age him, transformed into an older creature, dehumanized by his shame. I can't lie, this is the only lyric in the song that humanizes the man. For the rest of the song, I will be heavily critical of our enigmatic character. Most of the interpretations of this song align with mine. I read it to be a reflection of when a weak, insecure man looks for a relationship. When a creep looks for love, he only knows how to, disingenuously. In seeking love, he discovers ownership of a younger, naive, and impressionable woman. The predator finds his prey. Strange Boutique uncovers the darker societal expectations for individuals in a relationship. For a man, it's to govern, which can manifest itself in coercion and abuse. And a woman, docility. Oh, I just struggled with that word so much. I'm so sorry. Docility and reckless submission, which inadvertently makes her more susceptible to the abuser. A man's pursuit in finding the perfect woman, one he does with a certain kind of religious fervor, because he chases her, but she doesn't exist. Get it? Like a believer in a false god. Alternatively, the perspective may align with the woman who worships the ground her man walks on. He is the final authority in her life. He is God in his wrath, jealousy, and love. An article I read also said, and I quote, "The altar imagery evokes a sense of sacrifice and worship, indicating that the man places his desires above the well-being of his partner," end quote. Which ties into Hemingway's story of The American, that the woman sacrifices her own wants for the desires of the man who wants only to be free of her. An idle mind is the devil's workshop. It's one of those secular adages that have their origins in an ancient text like the Bible or the Enchiridion, so far removed from its original context that all meaning can be lost. But it comes from the Apostle Paul, and he explains that a lot of the time, sin finds us when we're absent-minded, not doing anything, like praying or helping others. Which I know we can all relate to. Those late nights in our room, and all of a sudden, the internet becomes our friend and foe, harboring our dark secrets. But I thought of a man who, out of boredom, decides to enter and ruin a woman's life, or a girl who, out of boredom, entertains a creep, not knowing the consequences. The word ivory made me think of the elephant's tusks, valuable and priceless. An egg, fragility and birth. Together, a young girl with boundless potential, but as a result of the hostile relationship, is hardened. The instability of their love infects her entire life. At least she remains beautiful to the world and to him, indifferent to the pain she feels. Another article explains, the ivory egg, white elephants, and the repeated reference to staying pretty could represent the suffocating nature of societal norms and the pressure to adhere to superficial standards at the expense of one's authenticity and inner life. End quote. I imagine myself as someone who isn't motivated by boredom to be authentic, but instead is drawn away from myself and becomes trapped in an endless scrolls spiraling to my doom. The promise of what the internet could do, the lie that we were told and continue to believe. that in some way it connects us to the rest of the world, and yet it takes me weeks to reply to an old friend, even though I can scroll for that day for hours. What sacrifice am I constantly making at my own expense? So, for anyone else in the room who at least twice a day remember that they were born to die, you will tolerate this meander. I think Lana Del Rey, in her earliest iteration, really did embody this notion. The idea that in youth you acquire eudaimonia, and past a certain age you decay. Obviously, anyone who has undergone anamnesis knows that you will age, and as you age, you grow. And peaking is an internet term, actually. Life really does go on. But let's take a step back for a second. Why does she die young? Who kills her? And why would she still stay pretty? I think I have an answer for this. A trope that was trending on the Clock app in summer of 2025 was the haunting the narrative character. This character is usually a woman who causes the inciting incident that motivates the protagonist or propels the entire story further. The woman is usually enigmatic and is seen mostly as an object for the man to be motivated by. But she undergoes no self-development herself. Like, she'll die at the beginning and you might not ever see her again except in flashbacks. I don't think the song has a woman haunting the narrative, but she does haunt the pre-chorus. What I find fascinating about films or books that invoke this trope is that the woman who haunts the story was usually killed by the protagonist, or at least someone key in the story. Cite Twin Peaks, Mayor of Easttown, Shutter Island, we could go on. The woman in this song is in a toxic relationship with this man, her predator. Of course, the lyrics aren't, he kills her, it's, she dies. But at least her beauty remains. I think Dworkin perfectly encapsulates this feeling in her book Intercourse. She writes, "Art is merciful. Murder turns the woman one has f***ed over a lifetime human. When a woman dies, she holds power over these men. When a woman is killed by a man in all these narratives, she is forgiven and upgraded to ethereal sainthood or debased to just an image. In the same way, a woman dies, but at least she remains sexy." I think this song is too symbolic for it to actually be about murder and death. Instead, think of death as when a man takes interest in you and you move cities for him, drop your friends, then he forbids you to talk to your family. The young innocent girl you were before dies. In this way, that version of you actually is murdered. But the juxtaposition between dies and stays makes me think that while her innocence is lost, her beauty remains. In reference to the unhealthy part of a relationship, the void evokes an image of black holes. A black hole, we know, has such a high escape velocity, faster than the speed of light, that it actually swallows light. In the same way that toxicity in a relationship, whilst at times loving, has a void that swallows and is fueled by resentment and contempt. In this way, due to the rapid, exciting whirlwind of a toxic relationship, we can explain why someone, but not everyone, could get addicted. Hills Like White Elephants is a poignant exploration of the darker sides of love and human connection. So yeah, that was a mini passion project of mine, as are all my videos. I don't know why I put that in the script. I can't lie, I did get a bit tired towards the end, but I do like writing. It's never a chore, but it is my back that's the kicker. Anyways, I was inspired by myself a few years ago as I made a video about burnt fires. But I was like, I don't always have to talk about TV and movies all the time. I am a music fiend at the end of the day. So here we are. I made a video about a song that I really liked, and I hope to make another video in February about Hamnet, the film, and Hamnet, the book, and just my feelings over it, because a comparison was too much for me right now. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you soon.